Well, hello and good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining me today. This month's topic is all about the Track app. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the current functionalities, including the GIS Map feature as well as Salamander identity verification. And both are going to be available within the Track app or with a Track app subscription, and then they'll also be available within the device as well as Salamander Live. So I see some familiar names here. Hello. If you haven't done so, please make sure that you mute yourself. So whether you're a veteran Track app user or you're completely new to the Track app or you just haven't used the app in a while, this training is going to serve as a great refresher or starting point. To make the most of today's training, feel free to log into your Track app and follow along during the demonstration section. I'll let you know when that happens. At any time during the training, if you have any questions at all, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can send me a message through the chat function. All right, let's go ahead and get started then. So let's first talk about what the Track app is for those that may be new to the solution or need a refresher. So the Track app is an in-field mobile accountability solution that can be used on any Android or iOS device. So you're downloading this from the app or the App Store right from your phone. You just search for Salamander Track, and it should be a yellow salamander icon. So the Track app is used to create an event, or you can join an active event that has already taken place. Once in an event, you can scan credentials of resources, so that includes people, equipment. You can also scan in patients and move them into their specific tasks or assignments. Now, if credentials aren't available with the Track app, you do have the option to download resources directly from your Salamander Live database. So what it's doing is it's going directly into your Salamander Live database, getting access to the data that you have based off of your permissions, and then you'll be able to download them directly into assignments and then reassign them as needed. So the first feature I want to really talk about is the GIS Map feature. So this is a feature within Salamander Live that leverages the Track app. And what it does is it allows you to see a real-time view of where your resources are located during an event. So this comes with the Track app subscription. You do have to flag that on the user's account so that when they log into Salamander Live, they can see that. So how the GIS Map works is that when a Track app user creates or joins an event, it sends its GPS location to Salamander Live. Salamander Live will then pin their location onto the GIS Map, which can be found on the event dashboard. Each Track app pin is going to provide information such as the user's name, their position, their organization, their contact information, and their USNG, which is the U.S. National Grid coordinates. Now, the Track app is one of 3 applications that pins on the GIS Map. Each application is going to be identified with a different colored pin. I'm just going to briefly go over this. We're not going to cover the 2 other pins as much, but I do want you to recognize that there are 3 colored pins that you may see if you're utilizing all 3 applications. So of course, because this is a Track app, we'll first cover the Track app pin. The Track app pin is going to be yellow. I'm hearing some background noise. If you haven't done so, please make sure that you mute yourself. Thank you. So when a Track app user joins the event from either a smartphone or a tablet, a yellow pin is going to appear on the map with their approximate GPS location. So as of today, the Track app pin is going to be stationary. However, we do have plans in a future update to allow the pin to move every time the device moves more than 50 meters, so about a quarter of a mile. So what Salamander Live is going to do is going to update its location on the map, and then what this does is it provides event managers some real-time data on the user's whereabouts. So this is going to be a pin for every Track app user. Another pin that you may see on the GIS map is going to be a red pin. So the red pin denotes the event's location. So the event location can be set either in a plan before activation. So this is the plan feature is an additional feature that you can purchase separately. It will be available within Salamander Live. You can also see a red pin when you are creating or editing the event within Salamander Live. And last is the blue pin. So similar to the track app, when a tag app user, so this is directly related to the tag app, so when the tag app user remotely checks into an event, a blue pin is going to appear on the map with their approximate GPS location. However, the difference between the tag app and track app is that today the tag app pin does move. So every time the device moves more than 50 meters, your location will be changed upon the map. So it's going to move with you. Not only that, the tag app users have a feature where they can leave the event or check themselves out of the event. So if they do that, their actual pin will disappear from the map. Unlike the track app pin will always stay. Okay, so that is the GIS map. We'll take a look at that after the demonstration when we go through and create an event and add some resources in. I'll show you what the GIS map is going to look like. And then the last feature I want to briefly talk about is Salamander Identity Verification, or also known as SIV. So I want to talk about this because this is a feature that's within the track app. So this feature provides an additional layer of tag security for your event. And it does this by ensuring that the people that are entering the scene are active, they've been vetted, and they're qualified. So any Salamander credential can be verified, including people that are outside of your Salamander organization or account. And their verification status can be shared with any connected track app event. When I say connected, means that they are joined into the same event. All track app users will be able to do this and see this information. So all track app users I mentioned earlier are automatically subscribed to this feature. So they have full access to this, and individually they can turn this feature on and off within their app. So with the Salamander Identity Verification turned on in the track app, every time you scan a tag or you download a person using the track app, the system is going to complete 3 to 5 checks depending on whether the credential was scanned or if it was downloaded. So if you look on this side when a tag is scanned, so when it's scanned, it completes 5 checks. It's going to check whether their record exists within Salamander Live, if the credential is expired, if any of their qualifications have expired, whether they are in good employment standing, and you'll see the list here for what is considered as good standing. And then last, if the ID you scanned was the latest credential that was printed. So again, that kind of goes with reprints if someone lost their ID and then they found their ID. So they may be using an older ID. The system will let you know that they're using an older ID. During the download, it's only going to check 3 of the 5 tests. The 2 tests it cannot check is going to be whether the ID expired or if the ID is the latest printed. Of course, that requires a physical ID tag, so that's why those 2 are not going to be tested in a download. So with the identity verification, there is going to be 4 different results that you may see either in a pop-up screen after scanning a credential, or you're going to see this within the person's photo. So there's going to be a specific icon. So this specific icon that you see here, that's going to be available within the person's photo on the download or assignment screen. So for a valid result, after scanning, if the individual passes all tests, a valid result is going to pop up for a few seconds before the person is going to be immediately added to the selected assignment. Now, in a download, the valid icon is going to display within the person's image as you see here. So it's going to be the bottom right-hand corner. You're going to see that green and white check mark. If the individual fails at least one check, a warning is going to result. So during a scan, if a warning results, the track app user is going to have the option to allow or block the person from receiving an assignment. So you can choose to allow that person, and if you tap allow, it's going to immediately add that person to the selected assignment. Now in a download, you're going to see the warning icon in the bottom right hand corner. In order to see what the reasons are, you're going to have to first add that person. So you're going to download and add that person to an assignment. Once added, you can then tap and view the person's profile and then see the reason for the warning. Okay, and then after that, if you decide that you don't want that person on scene, you can move them off scene. So I'll show you that process when we go through the demonstration. Now, if a track app user chooses to allow the person into an assignment and then later the same or different track app user decides to block the person after scanning their credential again, the blocked icon is going to display next to the person's image within the assignment. The blocked icon is to really signify that the person has been blocked at one point during a rescan. So you'll see on here, so they allow this person, so Kelly Anders was status leave, they allowed it, and then they decided they rescanned it again, and they blocked it, and so now when they go into the credential or into the assignment, they're going to see that there's going to be an X on there. So that just, again, indicates that they've been blocked at some point during a scan. In the event you lose internet connection, you can still use your track app. So the great thing about a track app is it does work in a comms in and comms out environment. So you can still use the track app to scan credentials. Now downloading, you may or may not be able to, depending if you were on the download screen before you lost internet connection. So what's going to happen is that the data is going to sit in queue, and then once internet connection is reestablished, the app will resync and send the information back to Salamander Live and from Salamander Live back to the track app. Now the offline result will display only if the scanned credential is valid. So the only time you'll ever see this offline is when it's valid. So when offline, the track app is only able to verify the tag and qualification expiration dates that's been encoded into the QR code of the credential. If it's not been encoded into the credential, you're not going to see any of that information. Now, if the credential fails any of the tests, the warning screen will pop up, very similar to when you have that from the previous screen where we said it was a warning result. So the warning screen is going to display, and then at this time, the track app user can either allow or block the person from receiving an assignment. Okay. Again, I'm hearing some background noise. If you have not done so, please make sure you mute yourself. All right, so at this time, I'm going to get my track app up on the screen to do a demo of the functionalities within the track app. Feel free to log into your track app and follow along for some hands-on experience. So let me just exit out of that. Get a blank screen. Move that over here. Expand this so it's larger. There we go. All right, so I've already logged into the track app. If you haven't done so, make sure that you log in. So the track app, it utilizes your Salamander Live login. So if you have a Salamander Live login, an inventory app, track app, and tag app, the great news is that your logins are shared across all applications. And the track app will always stay logged in unless you log out. So there's an option for you to tap on the menu icons, three bars at the top left-hand corner. That's where you can sign out. I want to have you guys look at this as well too, because that is where you can turn on identity verification. So we talked about this feature. This is a feature that is controlled by the track app user. They can choose to turn it on or turn it off. So before an event, you just have to decide whether your track app user should utilize this feature. So if you want to be able to vet and validate ID tags, you want to make sure that your track app users have this turned on. So I'm going to leave this on for this demo so you can see all the little pop-ups that come through when we're scanning ID tags. Okay. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new event. So in this case, you have in progress events. So these are all the active events that are currently running. With the track app, you can choose to join any one of these, okay? Or you can choose to create a brand new event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new event. So I'm going to tap the plus button down at the bottom right-hand corner. And it's going to require you to name the event. Okay. I'm going to put this as, let's see, today is the day after Valentine's Day. So I'm going to put this as Valentine's Day party. All right, very fitting, right? I know we're a day late, but so Valentine's Day party. Let's create the event. It's going to be in here. All right, so once you create the event, it's going to take you immediately into the actual event. So you'll see and you'll notice that the off-scene assignment has been added to the event. So this is going to be by default. All the other assignments you're going to have to add manually, or you can scan in assignment barcodes if you have them. Now, in a real case scenario, your track app users may or may not have barcodes to scan for assignments. So I'm going to show you the download way, okay? So on this screen, you'll see that at the middle, you'll see there's a power count. It will show you how long the event's been running for. You'll see power counts. You'll see some icons. This is the filter icon, search icon, and then the download icon. So this is add. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap that button, that add button, and we're going to download some assignments. So you'll see there should be 3 options: assignments, personnel, and equipment. Now, if you have an Android device, just notate that your Android device is going to be just a tad different. I mean, the look and feel is going to be about the same, but there's that 2% that's going to be a little bit different, and this is where one of those differences are. Android's going to populate right directly underneath that plus button versus iOS populates at the bottom. All right, so what we're going to do is tap assignments. And this is going to pull your assignments list from Salamander Live. So if you don't have any assignments added within Salamander Live, your assignments list is going to be blank. So this is not going to help out your track app users. So let me show you where this is pulling from within Salamander Live. Let me just push this over a bit. All right, in Salamander Live, you're going to see on your left menu, there's going to be an assignments database. So this is where this is exactly pulling from, is right here. So right here, I've got my sort on because in Salamander Live, it does not sort by alphabetical order. In the track app, it does. So I already sorted this out to make sure it looks exactly the same. So you'll see on here, ABC parking lot, ABCD zone, etc., etc. So this is where it's pulling from. If you don't have access to assignments, you're obviously not going to be able to see this. But make sure that if you're going to be utilizing the track app and allowing your users to be able to download assignments, make sure you enter those all into Salamander Live. All right, so with adding an assignment, it's pretty simple. You can choose to search by scrolling and going through your entire list, or you can use the search button at the very top. So let me see here. Let me just do ABC parking lot. Let's do some attendees. Let's do a checked in. So all you're doing is you're tapping the assignment picture. It looks like a clipboard. And what that's going to do is you can put a check mark in that. And then you'll see at the top I have 3 selected so far. Okay? So let's do a dinner. All right, once you're done selecting your assignments, all you need to do is tap that check mark that appears on the top right-hand corner. Once you tap that, all those assignments that you selected will be added to your event. Okay? So there it is, all the assignments. So that's the download function. Now there is the scan function. You can also scan in barcodes if you have them. I'll just pull up some barcodes here so you can see. I have these printed up ahead of time. I'll just show you what these barcodes are. These are barcodes that work great with command. So those that have the command solution, you probably have like a resource book or a battle book, whatever you want to name it, that has a bunch of barcodes. So barcodes for people, barcodes for assignments, barcodes for equipment, all already pre-printed. So you see this, and you can choose to scan these in as well. So very, very simple to do within Salamander Live. Okay. So scanning, I'll just scan in the planning. All you have to do on here is tap the scan button at the bottom right-hand corner. That's going to activate the camera. Now, the very first time that you activate the track app, if you're using the this is the very first time using the track app, when you activate the scan button, it's going to ask you whether or not you're going to allow the track app to access the camera. Make sure you click yes. Okay. If you don't, you're not going to be able to scan. So here it is. I'm just going to scan in the planning section chief. Okay. Now you see that the camera stays active, so this is called continuous scan mode. This means that now your scan target has been set to the planning section chief. So this time you can also scan in some people barcodes if you wanted to. So if you know who the planning section chief is going to be, you can basically scan their barcode in. Okay. So let me just move this down so I don't scan anything. Let me go to people barcode. I'm going to scan in Mr. Al Bannister here. And there it is. You see Salamander identity verification popped up on the screen very quickly there. It was a few seconds to let you know that that person's been validated. They've been verified, and they're good to go. So Al Bannister was added to planning section chief. So that appears at the bottom of the screen to let you know that that person's been added. So going forward, this is the active assignment. You see planning section chief. So if you continue to scan in more people, all those people will be added to this assignment, planning section chief. If the next person you're scanning does not or is not assigned to this assignment, you have to back out of this continuous scan mode. So at the very top of the screen, you're going to see a back button. Or if you have a physical back button on your phone, you can tap on that or press that. So when I tap on that, that's going to bring me back to the main screen. Okay? So you see my par count should now be 1. And that's where the person is right there. Okay? So in that little tidbit I just showed you, we already scanned in an assignment barcode and at the same time scanned in a person directly into that assignment. You see how quick and simple that was? Track app is so easy to use, and there's just so many interchangeable ways in which you can scan in and add people. So we're going to do a couple different options here so you can see all the different ways that you can add people to an assignment. Okay, so that's just one way. I'm going to scan in another person's barcode. I'm going to scan in Mr. Prince Barnes here, okay? Now, I'm still on the main event screen. You see that? I'm still on the main event screen. I'm going to tap the scan button again, okay? Activate my camera. I'm going to scan in Mr. Prince Barnes. And now I get the select assignment screen. So when you scan from the main event screen, you haven't selected an assignment yet. So it's going to ask you, where do you want this person to go? Okay, where do you want this person to go? You can choose to create a brand new assignment. So this is the option. This is the only way to create a brand new assignment through the track app is by first scanning a credential. That could be either a person or equipment. It could be a patient ID. But you have to scan in the credential. Okay? Or you can filter the list. Filtering, so if I type in A, it's going to pull in everything that has an A in there. So here I'm going to AT. It's going to say AT, so attendees. This is a great feature, especially if you have, it's a large scale event and you've got 100+ assignments. You don't want to scroll through your list to try to find that assignment. You can just tap it or type it up here, and then you can tap it from here. So this person is not an attendee. It's going to be for ABC parking lot. So if I did ABC, so obviously it's the very first one here. I can tap on that. My camera stays active, okay? Here it is, it's verified. Very, very quick. I can scan in the next person. You see how quick this is? So this person is also going to ABC parking lot. Next person, you see how quickly I'm just scanning this? These are all people that are going to the same assignment. See how quick that is? If I want to back out of that, I can back out of the camera, and now I've got my individual scanned into the parking lot. So I scanned in 4 people within a matter of seconds. Okay. So that's one way of doing this. Another way of scanning people is you can select the assignment first. Okay. If I select the assignment first, I can tap in ABC parking. So this is the active assignment now because I select the assignment. I can tap the scan button and start scanning away. Now we already know where these people are going because you can see at the very top there, it says ABC parking lot. So every person I'm scanning on here is going to ABC parking lot. So again, this is just verifying. Okay. Now I'm going to scan one that has, I know that has, let me move this over here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to scan this person that I know has a warning for sure. Okay, so I'm going to show you this process if you do get one that's a warning. So again, this person is going to ABC parking lot. Or, you know what, we'll put this person in checked in. We'll tap checked in, scan a barcode, verifying, and here's the warning. So in the warning, says, okay, Ann Alexander, paramedic, has a qualifications that expired. I know this is using off the qualification code, so it's whatever you put in as a qualification code. In this case, they put all zeros in the qualification code. So unless you as your organization understand what all those zeros mean, in this case, I do. This was a code that someone put in for CPR. So it looks like it expired 2 months ago. So this person needs to renew their CPR certification. So in this case, you can choose to allow or block the person. Okay, you can allow or block the person. So I'm going to allow this person, and then I'm going to scan and then block this person. You can see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to allow this person. This person's been moved to checked in. Let's say you're like, oh crap, this person, looking up what that qualification is. You now know it's CPR. They need that in order to be assigned to this assignment. So let's say you scan them again. This pops up again, and now you can choose to block this person. So I'm going to block this person. Now, Ann Alexander blocked from checked in. So if I go to her record, so this is a checked in assignment, it'll show that she's been blocked. See that? There's an X there. So it's just saying that she's somehow been blocked. So in this case, if I want to move her off scene to say, nope, we changed your mind, you can't be a part of this event, I can move her in this case, okay? So I can move her. How do I move her? There's a couple ways you can move her. The easiest way in this case is we're already in the checked in assignment. I can tap her picture. You see this? I can tap her picture. It's going to put a check mark next to her name. And I'm going to see this looks like a suitcase or a clipboard with an arrow in it. That's the move icon. So I can tap on that. It's going to tell me what assignment do you want to move this person to. So this is a manual move. So I'm going to move this person to off scene. So now this person, Ann Alexander, has been moved to off scene. There's a view button that appears for a couple seconds. If you want to tap on that to view her in the off scene assignment, you can do so. So if we go into the off scene assignment, you'll see that she's been moved to off scene, and you'll see there's an X on there. All of this that you're doing within the Track app is going to be sent up into Salamander Live and be available within the reports. So there is a identity verification report that you'll be able to view all these different results. Okay. All right. So that is scanning of people. That scanning process that we did for people can be the same thing for equipment. As you know, the track gap, you'll see there's an icon on here that allows you to scan in equipment. So if you want to be accountable for what equipment you have on scene, know what you have on scene, you can scan in equipment as well too. So this process is different than the inventory app. The inventory app, when you're scanning it, you're basically assigning it to a person. That person is now responsible for those equipment. In this case, for an event side, when you're scanning those equipment in, you're assigning it to the assignment, just letting you know that that piece of equipment is there. So let's say if you wanted to have a fire truck and you want to have an ambulance and staging just to prep and prepare just in case of an emergency, you can scan that in, okay, into a staging assignment if you wanted to. So in this case, I've got some barcodes in here. I can scan it in the collection if I wanted to. So there's equipment, there's collection. So collections, you can scan these in as well. Let me see what this one is. Here's a Salamander support team. So I'll go ahead and scan this one. This is an actual collection. So this is a collection. This is the new barcode that's been printed. So this is the collection card design. So the 2x3 collection card design. So I'm going to scan this person, or this collection, tap the scan button, scan the barcode, select the assignment. Let's say we're going to put them in a staging assignment. I'm going to create this. You see this? I'm creating a brand new assignment. Tapping the check mark. Once I tap the check mark, it's going to say, here is everybody that's within your collection that you just scanned in. So for Salamander support team, there's going to be these individuals, 2, 4, 6. So there's 6 individuals in here and 3 pieces of equipment. Do I want to add all of them? Have I counted and verified that there are 6 individuals named as such in here, and they've got 3 pieces of equipment with them? Okay. If they're not, let's say Jane Austin is missing, you can basically uncheck her name and it's not going to check her in. Now, the one thing you want to notate is that this collection barcode is a static barcode. So if you scan this again, you're going to see that Jane Austin is going to be pulled up again. So you're going to make sure that you uncheck her name every single time if you scan this collection barcode a second time or third time or fourth time. Okay. So in this case, I'll just leave her there. They're all 6 of them there. And at the very top, and then tap accept. So now Salamander support team has been added to staging. Okay. Now let's do equipment. So let's do, let me see here, some barcodes for equipment. Here's barcode for equipment. Here's a fire truck if I wanted to have a fire truck there. Same thing, added engine 2 to staging, okay? So if I tap back, you'll see I've got 4 pieces of equipment, which 3 of those were taken from the collection, so it splits everything up, and then 1 that I just scanned in, which was engine 2. Okay, so you can scroll down, you can see your numbers. So 4 pieces of equipment and one collection. If I tap on the staging assignment, there's my engine 2, and there's my Salamander support team. Now in this case, I can go in and view details for any of the resources that you either scan or download in. So I'm going to have you guys do this. If you're following along, you can basically tap on the name. So instead of tapping the picture, you're going to tap on the name. So let's do the collection here, okay? The Salamander support team, I'm going to tap on that name. It's going to pull up the details for that collection. So you can see on here, it's pulling the details here, all of the individuals. And then there's going to be an option for the details right here. I can tap on the details. It's going to show me on my assignment history. So Salamander support team was checked in staging at 12:33 p.m. I'm Central Time, so that's what's showing on my screen. Okay. I can also do the same thing for AFD Engine 2. Tap on the name of the equipment, and then I'll see some details for this piece of equipment. So you'll see the details on here, qualifications, and then assignment all the way at the bottom. Okay. So that's scanning. Anybody have questions on scanning barcodes before we go into the download function? No questions? You check the chat. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's take a look at the download function. Close out the background so that you can see this better. So the download function. So here it is, the plus icon, exact same way that we did earlier with assignments. You're going to tap on that plus icon, and then you're going to tap on personnel. So you'll see that you can download two types of resources, people and equipment. So we're going to do people first. So under people, when we go under people, this is going to pull down your database from Salamander Live for what you, your track app user, has access to. So if you have restrictions on your track app, meaning you can't see everybody, you're going to have to contact your Salamander administrator and make sure they give you access if you're not seeing the people that you're supposed to be seeing. Okay, so a couple ways you can do this. You can, again, same thing as before, you can scroll through and search for the person you're looking for. If you have thousands of records, probably not the best way. You probably want to do a search instead. Okay, so I'm just going to type in Lee, search. There's a couple people in here called Lee. Looks like there's a duplicate of this person. But the one that we want is going to be Lee Austin. So you see on here, these are all been vetted and validated during the download. However, if you look at Lee Austin, he has a warning next to his name. So if you remember from the PowerPoint presentation, I talked about this, is that in a download, you can't actually tap on the name to see his details. You have to first download him and then view his profile to see what the warning is all about. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to tap Lee Austin. I'm going to tap his picture, which is going to put a check mark on there. Tap the white check mark at the top right-hand corner. And then I'm going to select my assignment. I did this from the main event screen first, so meaning I did not select an assignment. This is why it's asking me to select the assignment. So in this case, I'm going to move this person into, let's just put him into checked in. Okay. So Lee Austin has been moved into checked in. So I can tap on the checked in assignment. There he is. I can tap on his name. And this is going to tell me exactly why he's got a warning. And you'll see it right there. He's got two of them, two qualifications that are expired as of 2020. So hazmat awareness and Salamander Live training. Okay. So in this case, he's been checked in. If any of his qualifications, for liability reasons, if you don't want him on scene and you're like, no, those are qualifications or certifications you have to have in order to do this job, you can move him to a different job that may not require those qualifications, or you can move him completely off scene. So that's the choice that the track app user, you as the organization, will have to make if you're utilizing the Salamander identity verification and also utilizing qualifications. Okay. So we're going to leave him as checked in. He's just checked in right now, so those qualifications are all okay. So that's downloading. That's downloading. I can also download directly from an assignment. So I'm already in the checked in assignment. You see this? You'll see that I've got the add icon at the very top here. So I can tap the plus button, tap personnel, and download the next person. Okay. I'm just going to download Rudy Avery and Felix Barley. And tap the check mark, they've been added. Very simple to do. Now I want to show you another option that's available on the download function. Okay, so we're going to stay in this screen. At the very top again, tap the plus button and then tap personnel. I want you to zone in on the bottom right hand corner. So if you remember earlier, that was a scan screen. So and on the main screen, on the main event screen, there was a plus, meaning you can create an event. So this is an action button that changes depending on what screen you're on. Okay, so right now we're in the download a person screen. So what happens is this changed to a plus icon, meaning that I can manually add a person. So if this person that's looking to check in is not a part of your organization, and let's say you do have a Rapid-Tag computer that is checking in those volunteers, that people don't have Salamander credentials. Let's say you could say, you know what, I'm going to check you in right now, and then I'm going to have you go over to the Rapid-Tag computer, and I'm going to have them fill in the rest of your information and print you off an ID. Okay, so you can use it in that fashion. So that's one way that you can utilize this. If you don't have Rapid-Tag, you can still add this person manually through this way. However, you're only collecting some very basic information. So I'm going to show you this, okay? Tap the plus button. You'll see all you're requiring right now is first name and last name. That's really it. So, and you can't print off an ID for this person through the Track app. So that's what I'm saying, that it's best to utilize this, and we recommend it to utilize this feature right here with the Rapid-Tag solution. So in this case, put in your name. I'm just going to put this one is John Harris. Recommend putting in a phone number even though it's not required. Okay. There's a phone number right there. And you got two options. You can save, which is going to close out this person, add them into the checked-in assignment. Or you can click Save and New. Save and New is going to close this person out, add them to the assignment, and then open up a new form for you to add another person into the same assignment. Okay? Let's do Save and New so you can see that. You see that? It's added that person, new blank form. So let's do here Carol. And then save. So you got Carol and John in here. You see that? If you tap on Carol's information, all you're going to get is a ID number that was automatically created for them, and then their phone number, and then their assignment. Their status on here is always going to be unknown because, again, they are an unknown individual. No picture or anything with it. So this is where you would send this person to the Rapid-Tag computer. They can go in there, fill out the rest of the information. As you know, Rapid-Tag, they can fill in an email, address, they can put a role on there, they can print it off an ID tag. Now that person's been identified. Okay, so that's another feature that's available within the Track app that you can utilize if you'd like to. For equipment, downloading, same thing. So I can tap the scan or the add button, tap equipment. This is going to pull down your equipment database. So this is going to include, especially if you have asset management turned on, this is also going to pull down your consumable items. So you'll see everything that you have access to in here, okay? So I'll just type in here ambulance. Spell it right. And there's ambulances. I'll just select this Ambi1. And now the piece of equipment has been added. Questions so far on manually adding resources? Okay, none. All right, so I'm going to stay in this checked-in assignment because there's other features that's available within here. So you'll see that there is another icon in here. This is a select all button. So if I tap on it, it's going to select all. Oh, let me refresh. So this is select all. So this allows you to select everybody that's within the assignment and move them to a new assignment. Now, if you're not looking at moving everybody from the assignment, so let's say there's only specific people you're looking at moving. Let's say you're going to move these two individuals. You can tap on their picture. Again, the move icon up here. So again, we're doing a manual move. You can tap them, move them into where they're supposed to go. Let's say that they're going to go to dinner. Tap dinner, and now those individuals have been moved to dinner. I can also do a scan, like Felix Barley. I have his barcode. Let's say he's standing in front of me, and I've got his barcode right here. Barley. Did have his barcode. You do someone else. Oh, there he is. So Felix Barley. Okay. So let's say I'm on the main screen here. So Felix Barley comes up to me saying that he's going to go to dinner. If you see here, I can tap on dinner, tap on the scan button, and then scan his barcode, and it's going to move him immediately into the dinner assignment. There he is. So you see this? I can tap on his name, and you'll see that it immediately checked him out from the checked-in assignment and moved him over to dinner immediately. Okay? So that's another way that you can move people is by scanning their barcodes directly into the new assignment. So you don't have to do that manual option if you don't want to, especially if the person has their ID with them and they're standing right in front of you. Just tap the assignment and then scan them in. Very, very simple. So again, couple different ways in which you can utilize all the different features within the Track app. Okay. All right, now that we have the processes down for scanning resources, downloading resources, and moving resources, I want to talk a little bit about these icons right here. Okay. So this icon right here, this one right here, is a filter icon. So if you tap on that, what this does is it allows you to really just showcase the few assignments that you want to view. Okay? So I can tap on the select all to remove all the check marks, and then I can select the ones I want to see. So this is going to be per Track app user. So this is just what the Track app user, wants to see. This is going to be great, especially for those large-scale events where, again, you have hundreds of assignments, and you don't want you're not responsible for maybe 75% of them. You're only responsible for maybe a quarter of them. You can choose to select those assignments. So let's say all I care about right now is staging. I can select staging. So you'll see there's a check mark right there, and then tap done. What I'm all going to see is just a staging assignment. Everything has been hidden from view. You'll see that you've got a filter set because there's going to be an X on there. So this, again, is an indicator to let you know that there's other assignments. So everything is still moving. Your par counts at the top here are going to still be adding and subtracting as people are checked in and move off scene. But all you're going to see is whatever happens to the staging assignment. Okay? Now you can choose to remove that filter if you want to see all the assignments again. All you have to do is tap the filter icon again, and then tap to select all, and then tap done. And now they're all back. So that is the filter icon. Great tool to have. The other tool I want to show you guys, or the other icon I want you guys to look into, is the search icon. So this is going to be great for if you need to find someone. You get radioed in that you got to move this person. Again, this is a large-scale event. You don't want to go through each assignment trying to find out where this person is at. Now, if you had command, obviously you could see that on the command chart with the command solution. But with the Track app, you kind of have to know where that person is in order to move them if you're going to do a manual move. Of course, if you have their credential, it'd be so much easier to scan them. Again, things happen, right, where you get radioed and you got to move this person. Now you got to find them. So in this case, we're going to find, let's look for Lee Austin again. So I'm going to type Lee, search, there he is. So Lee Austin, I can tap his name to see his history. So it's going to pull up his details. So where is he currently at? Oh, he's at dinner right now. So it's 12:45, it's 12:50. He's only been in dinner for 5 minutes, and they want him to quickly eat and then move him where he needs to go. Maybe it's an emergency, they need him. So in this case, I can tap the back button. You see at the back button, which says search right there, brings me back to that search view. I can tap his picture, and then I can move him where he needs to go. So poor Lee Austin only got a bite of food, and then now he's being moved. Let's say there's a brawl at the ABC parking lot. He needs to go there. I can tap on ABC parking lot. Now, Lee Austin has been moved to ABC parking lot. Okay. I can tap on his name again if I want to, and I can see his history. Checked in, dinner, and then parking lot. So again, another great tool to search for people if you need to manually move them versus trying to find them by clicking every single one of these and trying to look at and see where they're at. So another great tool. Any questions? Now, I forgot to show you guys this earlier, but if you're working on a smaller screen, like I'm on an iPhone 8 Plus, so my screen is pretty large, but if you're on a smaller phone, there is an option to hide this PAR information by tapping this down caret. If you tap on that, it's just going to move that out of the way so you have more screen real estate. So I just want to show you that, especially if you're working smaller phone or smaller screen size phone. Tap on that again and expands it so you can see your PAR counts. Okay. Now, while this is running, I'm going to pull up Salamander Live so we can go into the GIS Map feature. Log in. So if you're following along and you have, let's say if you have a secondary computer and you want to see this on your own end for your event that you create through TrackApp, feel free to do so. If not, you can just look and see my screen here. So in Salamander Live, where you're going to see the GIS map is going to be within the event side. So you have to click on the events from the left menu. And then to go to the dashboard, you have to click on the event. So don't click on the checkbox, okay? All that does is it provides some additional icons for you and viewing the reports for that event. You have to click on the name of the event. So anywhere within this event, click on it, and it's going to bring you into the event dashboard. Dashboard, very similar to the home dashboard. There's going to be a bunch of information in here, okay? So there's my summary. If you noticed, if you've been working with Salamander Live, we did update the summary. This was released on January 20th. So we added some additional information to the summary to let you know what event is the parent, or this event, whether it's the parent or the child, whether this plan includes, or I'm sorry, whether this event includes a plan, and if this event also assigned a PIN. Okay, so here's the GIS map. So you see that's me right there. That's my track app, so it pins me. If I click on that, that's going to show my information. So my username is Salamander Trainer 2, but my name in the actual profile is Salamander Trainer 2. So again, you can change that. It's going to show you whatever your full name is. Show your title, your organization, and then your phone number. Again, this will only show your phone number if your phone number has been entered into your record, your profile, okay? And then the USNG coordinates, okay? So again, this PIN does not move as of today. And it always stays and is a part of this event. So if you back out of the event, so to back out of the event, all you have to do is tap the back button. So you tap on events. It brings you back to the main in-progress event screen. Your PIN will always stay. So there are some works around this to make it show when a person is inactive. Let's say I'm a TrackApp user and I'm scanning people into the event here, but I'm going to go to lunch, so I back out. There'll be a way for you to freeze or to let them know that you're inactive, but your pin will never move from the, or I'm sorry, will never disappear from the map, because we need to know where all your check-in points are at, right? Because that's what your track app users are. They're basically checking people in, so they're all at different check-in points or checkout points. So that's that. So that's that blue pin, or sorry, the yellow pin right there. There is a red pin, which I talked about. So if I wanted to add a red pin on here, I definitely can. If I go back to my events, let me just go back to the event side. So again, this was a release that we did with V67 a couple months ago. I can click on the checkbox for the event, click the pencil icon to edit my event. I can type in the address right here. So this is the address. If you select the Google Pick List, it's going to also enter in the latitude and longitude. So this right here is going to be required for plotting on the GIS map. So if you don't select one from the drop-down, you'll have to manually enter in the latitude and longitude. Click Save. It's going to bring you directly back to your dashboard, and now we should see a red pin once it refreshes. And there's the red pin. So that's the address I put. So I'm a far ways off from there. Okay. If you click on that, it's going to just show you the event name, the address location, and then the coordinates. Any questions on the GIS map? The weather function is going to be based off of the location of the event. So this is YZ, so it's pulling this out. It's in the 20s. Woohoo! That's great for us here in Minnesota. 24 is great. We've been having below 0, so anything in the plus is always good. Your roster for people that's been checked in so far, you'll see them in here. So anybody that's been checked into the event will be populated in here. Even those that have been off scene. So Anne Alexander, remember she was blocked. She's going to also appear here. And then you have your resource timer and then your basic chart. Working pull reports. Now there's a report in here, so let me go back on here, sorry. There's a report on here that you can see. So under here, under the individual, let's just look at Anne Alexander. This is the individual detail report. So here it is. You can see the verify result. So valid with warnings, expired qualification. So treatment, they added to other assignment. And then nearly a minute later, it was invalid, meaning they blocked them due to expired qualification, and then there was no assignment. So that's one way you can see this. The other is through another report. It's called the Identity Verification Report. I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top. And here it is. We'll look at the PDF version. So right here it tells you all the individuals. So this person was blocked. So you'll see here at 12:28 was blocked. Expired qualifications. It was her ID was read 2 times. So this will tell you how many times their IDs were scanned as well. Okay. So that's where you can see your identity verification information from the Track app. So any questions so far on the Track app? We're about 12:59, so we're just about done. Any questions? Now, as always, I will post this one or either next week's onto Salamander University. So all of the trainings I've done in the past are all located here. There is a section called Web Recordings. And you'll see that this will probably be placed, under mobile solutions, and this will probably replace the older track app one that I did. So I try to redo these as we update features and stuff so that those that are new to it or even those that are veterans can see all the new features. So if you want to go back and review these, you definitely can. So these are all recorded web trainings I've done. Of course, there's documents, so user guides and stuff you can go through. So there's a track app one, and then there's additional video tutorials in here as well too. So if you want to go back and review all the information that we just went over, I've got different videos in here in which you can view this information. These videos are very short. They're anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes only. I try to keep them very short so that, because I know you guys are all really busy with answering emails and responding to incidents, events, and so try to keep these nice and short. I see there's a question that popped up. Let me just double check. Great question, Mark. His question is there a way to end an event in the track app? The answer is no. A long time ago, there used to be the option to end the event in the track app. However, we removed this feature. The reason why? Because if a track app user, for some reason they didn't know, they ended the event, nobody else is able to go back in and start tracking their individual. It causes a big issue for everybody else that's still working the event. So the only way to end the event through a track app event is through Salamander Live. So this actually happened for a large scale event when the track app was still able to end the event, and that caused a big cluster. So that's why this feature was requested to be removed, and so we removed it. So the only way to end the event, you have to go to events here, and you have to click the checkbox next to the event, and then you click the end button. So end the event. Obviously, before you end the event, as always, double check and make sure that all resources have been moved to off scene. Everybody's been accounted for. There's no longer anybody on scene before you close this out. So that's just, again, goes back to basic accountability. Okay. So that's basically how you would do that. Just end the event right there. If you want to end the event, click OK, and then the end date appears in there. If you're not done yet, and you're like, I need to resume this event, you can just click the checkbox again and click resume, and it'll basically reopen the event. You're welcome, Mark. What other questions do you guys have? No other questions? All right. Well, thank you all so much for being a part of today's training. I really appreciate your presence. After today's training, you will be receiving an email with an evaluation. Make sure you fill that out for me. Let me know how I'm doing, good or bad, and any other topics you want to talk about and you want me to cover in the next monthly trainings. Please let me know so I make sure that I do those topics, okay? Other than that, everybody have a wonderful day. Enjoy. If you're in the north, stay warm. Take care, everyone.